Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Nice to see everybody. Thank you so much for everyone's time. We will take a few minutes just to allow some people to gather. So we'll begin in about a couple of minutes here. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I believe there was just an option that I just wanted to make sure that if anybody wanted to unmute themselves for Q&As for later in the session that you'd be able to. So I believe I've gone ahead and done that for everyone. It is 2:01, so we can probably begin. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and I really appreciate everyone's engagement already in the chat. I'll just give a little bit of an introduction. My name is Dima Shekem, and I'm from the GreenShield administration team. So we assist in administering all of the benefits that are provided through Oasis. We're very excited to be here today and to be able to do a webinar for you specifically on our member portal. So allowing you to see the portal, and hopefully some of you have already accessed it. Happy to take questions either in the chat, probably in the chat for now as we go along, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So if everybody could please, for the moment, I think for the most part, most everybody is muted. Excuse me, but if you could, that would be great. And we can begin. Trevor, I noticed there's a question in the chat. This is a webinar on the member benefits portal, correct? And we actually are recording this as well. So if anybody has a question afterwards, this recording will be made available to everybody on this call. With me today, I have my colleague Kevin, who's also going to be assisting in kind of gathering your questions while I'm presenting. So if there's any questions, please feel free to either raise your hand if you'd like to ask the question live, or if you'd like to put it in the chat, please go ahead and do so as well.
Hi, everyone.
Great. So I will go ahead and start sharing my screen. Just give me one moment, please. Kevin, can you confirm if you see the screen?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. So Kevin, please keep me honest. If there's any questions in the chat, feel free to raise them to me as I'm going along. Or if anybody has a question, please raise your hand. Hi there. We'll get started. I'd like to mention beforehand that anything you see on the screen today is, of course, test information. This is data that we've put together for the purpose of our demo today. However, the usage and the functionality is identical to what you would see in your actual member website yourself. So though you may notice that it might say test in certain locations as we go through, that's intended, of course, for the privacy of user information. So just to share that. As I mentioned, I'm sure some of you have already registered for this portal. I hope you have, and I hope you've already been in and been able to navigate. But the first thing we'd like to share with the group today is the registration process. So this portal, I should backtrack, is really, it's not the portal you would go to submit claims. It's the portal where you would go to view information, to be able to essentially view the coverage that you have today, view your dependent information. It's also the portal where you would receive communication from the administration team. So whether it may be a confirmation statement, or whether it may be a beneficiary designation form, or an overage dependent letter, which we'll look at in a moment. It's essentially the portal that you go to view any and all of your benefits inquiries outside of those related specifically to the GreenShield insurance website and to submitting your claims. I am on the registration page right now. So this is a one-time activity that you would have to complete essentially the first time you log into this website. You'll notice the system asks you for certain data points. It'll ask you for what's called a certificate number, first and foremost on the top left. That is something you can locate on your confirmation statement. So if you've ever seen one of those, and we'll certainly look at one today, it is provided to you on your statement. So if you have, excuse me, if you're not able to, it's not a number that you have readily available, that's where you can locate it. Of course, your HR or benefits administrator at your organization can also help you find that if you need that information. I will also say though that it is a piece of information that you would also receive from our administration site by email once your data has been entered in the system. So some of you may have already seen this. It would just be a simple email saying, welcome to the benefits portal. Here's your certificate number. So you already have this piece of information probably in your inbox from when you were hired, essentially. Client number is always OASIS. Date of birth, of course, would be your date of birth. And then the email address that I have here on screen is essentially any email of your choice. So it doesn't have to be a work email address. It doesn't have to be, anything like that. It can be a personal email. I know some people like to, see this kind of information offline, at home, etc. So you're definitely able to use the email address of your choice, and that will really be going forward your user ID for this website. The question does sometimes come up, do we need an email to register? Yes, the answer would be yes, you do. Any of these 4 pieces of information, if you don't input in the system won't allow you to basically complete the registration. So really just your certificate number, date of birth, and then email of your choice. And I will go ahead and enter in a password. So it does say the password must be at least 12 characters. So let me just go ahead and enter a password. It does require some alphanumeric as well. And that should do it. Okay. What? I'll just copy that again. Okay, just 1 second.
Strange.
It's not letting me. Okay. Okay, consent. So that should work. So so essentially this is a piece of information that you'll get. You click register now and it allows you to register. What will happen then is you will get an email in your inbox. I'm sure you've done this with other websites. You'll notice they always want you to authenticate that it was really you who created the account. So it's essentially a one-time activity. Once you hit register now, you'll get the email, you'll hit confirm, and then you'll be good to go. So the only 2 pieces of information really that you would need going forward is just the email address itself and then the password. I'll take a second. I know we sometimes do get a few questions around registration. It's certainly not meant to be complicated, but at times there are questions. Jackie?
Sorry, I was muted. So I just quick question because I haven't registered before.
Sure.
And because you had said that it would be the employee ID from when you were hired.
It's yes, so not necessarily the employee ID at your organization, but really it's specifically one that the system would have generated for your benefits within the GreenShield administration system. So Jackie, do you have a copy of your confirmation statement of your benefits? It would also be located there, or you may have also received an email at one point when you're added into the system.
Okay, so I would have been rolled over into the system because I predate the insurance. I started in 97.
I see. I got it. Okay. And have you ever viewed a copy of your statement?
Never.
No? Okay. So we will keep track of any kind of questions like this. Either it can be answered by the administrator at your organization. Jackie, I don't know if you know who that person is. I'm sure they're very familiar and they're happy to provide you with that. It's really a certificate number that's generated by our system for your benefits. So understandably, you may not use it on a very frequent basis. So you're right. You would need that piece of information before logging in. Thank you for that question. Any other questions from anyone? Just registration specific at this point. Yeah, Sika? I'm sorry, Sika, was there a question? Okay, maybe not. Or sorry. Kevin, can you tell me please who's next on the list?
Sika?
Yes, I see the registration form. Do I have to register because I'm already a member?
So have you ever used the website, Sika, to your knowledge? Have you ever logged into the member portal?
No, I have not.
Okay, so yes, the registration has to happen the first time you log in. So what I was going to say as well is after this session, there will be some documentation that's shared. We have a guide. In that guide, there will be a link. So you will be able to click on the link and register. So if it's something that you've not done before, you will need to, and this applies for everybody on the call, of course, if you haven't ever registered, we will send the link similarly to what you're seeing on the screen right now, and you would need the certificate number, correct, to be able to register. That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And there's another question.
Can I speak?
Please go ahead.
Sorry. So again, with the certificate number, I don't have any certificate number.
Okay. And again, similar to
Yes.
previous response, if it's not something that you would have seen on your confirmation statement, and I'm sorry if I don't see your name, I apologize. I can't see who's asking the question.
That's fine.
So it would have been something you would have either received on your confirmation statement or an email generated from our system when you were added to the system, essentially. So it would have come directly to yourself. So I would either locate it through the statement, or if someone at your organization can support you and provide you that, then that would be the second option.
Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome, Bella. I see you now. My apologies.
I
was
see
there-
Sika, and then I see Andy.
Okay, I
Andy,
believe
Sika.
I think I'm trying to remove my hand.
Oh, no problem.
Oh,
No
okay.
problem.
And then
No
I have
problem, Sika.
is it
Yep.
Ligia? Oh, that one put down. Yeah, Ligia.
Sure. Or if Lydia, maybe I'm not sure if there was a question.
I have a question. Yes.
Sure.
So who is gonna send? I missed the part that you mentioned how we're gonna get that link. Who is gonna send that link for me to register?
So yes, definitely, Ligia, you would have received it at one point, but as part of essentially the information that'll be sent after the call, it'll either be GreenShield administration or Oasis, but you'll be getting a communication in your email with a guide, the member portal guide, which has the link in that guide. So I'll show you what the guide looks like in just a moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
And it'll basically come to the same email that you used to register today. You're welcome.
Yep, and then we have Ligia.
Oh,
I
that's
believe
me.
that was good. I think we're good from Ligia's perspective.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Any other questions at the moment about registration?
Can I go ahead?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, my question is about the certificate number. Is
Mhm.
this the one we have called ID number?
Yes.
Uh,
Are you looking at that? Excuse me, from your confirmation statement?
It is a recent claim statement.
Do you have your
Okay.
GreenShield number, the XLR one?
Yeah, XLR.
Yep. So it's the number after XLR. You don't have to put in XLR.
Oh, that phone number is my certificate number.
Yes. So just the numeral digits.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Got it.
Thank you, Kevin. Who's next?
Jasdeep.
Sure. Are we good for questions?
Jasdeep. And then we have Jen, and then we have Judith. Jasdeep, you're on mute.
Hi, Justine.
Jasdeep, you're still on
we
mute.
apologize. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Can you hear me now? Hi.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I had this GreenShield card with me for last time, and I have to renew for it again, or would it be sent to me directly through my workplace?
No, so the GreenShield card that you have, Justdeep, is specifically for your claiming ID. None of that is changing, and nothing like that is changing for you. For anybody on the call, we don't have that platform remains the same. This is a separate site for where we view and you'll be able to view all of your benefits. So nothing changes from a claiming perspective. So that is the same card that you keep.
So okay, so let me understand. The card keeps going on with the same number,
Correct.
and every year it's renewed, like the policy is renewed or the claims is renewed.
Absolutely, yes. The only time you'd ever receive a card, sorry to cut you off there, is if you have a change in any of your dependents or address or something like that, then you get a new card. Otherwise, the card remains the same.
Okay, and to do this process of what we are learning from today from you to create an account, this is for the new for this new year, for the whole 1 year, 2025, 2024 to 25.
It's actually information that's currently there today for you. This is just kind of a refresher for the group.
Sure.
So this would just be information that's already active. So let's say once we get into the portal, which we will in a few minutes, once you register, and if you log in later today, for example, or tomorrow, you would already see information in there. So it's active and current information.
Okay.
And you'll be able to see the differences between this website and the GreenShield insurance claims website in just a moment. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course, my pleasure. Any last questions about the registration? Otherwise, I'll log into the portal if we're ready.
Yeah, I still have. Yeah, go ahead, Ursula. Yep.
Sorry, shall I go?
Yes,
Yep, go ahead.
please.
I'm Ursula. Yeah, just to reconfirm the
Hello?
number, the certificate numbers after XLR, and this is a long number, then there is dash and there is 2 digits. All this should go in, including the dash and the 2 digits after the dash?
No, not the dash and the 2 digit after the dash.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? Sorry, I thought there was one more question.
Yeah. Judith.
Hi, Judith. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi. I actually tried with the XLR. I tried without the XLR and without the dash and double zero at the back, but it keeps telling me it's the wrong ID number. So I was thinking if there was any other certificate number they're referring to. Like right now, I'm looking at my card. I tried like several times, and I called the number on top there, so they asked me to wait for the for today's training. So I don't know which is the certificate number I'm supposed to put at the color that says certificate number. That's the only place I have a problem.
Okay, Judith, what's your last name?
Okpako. OKPAKPO.
Yeah, so we're not going to give any personal information, of course, on the session, Judith. But it seems maybe is it this website that you're logging in, or is it the insurance website? What is it? Does it look like this?
Your cert number start with 9,000.
That's it like this. Yeah. It started with 9,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So starting of your cert number is 9,000.
Just 9,000.
No, it's 9,000, and then I can't say the rest of the numbers, but it's 9,000.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I tried it, but it still wasn't good because I wanted to change my address and I wanted to remove my beneficiary from my file.
Okay, what we can do, Judith, you can just put your name and information there. We can certainly check on our side after the session. We can double check for you, and maybe once we go through the session, it'll be a bit easier for everyone. We'll show you what a confirmation statement looks like. You may have already received one, so you can also refer to that as well. So hopefully it'll help answer before the end of the call today.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And sorry, Kevin, is there another question there?
Yeah, there's Sandy.
Hi there. Thanks so much.
Sure.
So as I have been on the site before, and I just went to go and follow you along, and when I tried to log in, it came up saying access restricted. You are not authorized to access the member portal. If you require further information, please contact your plan administrator. Well, I am the executive director, and I am the person who would have the full access.
Absolutely. And can I ask, are you using by any chance the link that you're seeing on my screen, or is it just the one that you have normally and the one that you usually use?
I am using the one they sent me originally with member portal access for employees.
Okay, that's the correct one. And it's Sandy, right?
That's correct.
Okay, Sandy, our apologies. Without being able to see, I don't really know the reason why, unfortunately, it's giving you that error. Certainly, I know you do have access and you should. So leave that with us and we'll get back to you one way or the other, whether it's directly or through Oasis, your Oasis contact. But thank you for letting us know. To expect to follow up within the day on that. I did take a note of your name.
Thank you so much. I sure appreciate your help.
Absolutely. Okay. I think we can go ahead, but of course we can always come back to registration questions if anybody has anything. We'll certainly hopefully have some time at the end as well. So now we have, for the purposes of this demo, we have gone ahead and created a test account, as I mentioned. So just imagine that this is you've registered, you've entered in your email. This is what I mean when I said, your email address will be your user ID essentially, and then the password is there. And there you're logged in. So we'll go over kind of what, the different pages and the different kind of sections of the website and what it is what information you can, retrieve and where you can retrieve that. So right now I'm on the main, if you want to call it the homepage. We call it our homepage. You'll notice that there are several tiles throughout the homepage that I'll be clicking on in just a moment. And also there are there's an important documents section that is on the portal, as you can see. And we have created a guide based on today's essentially demo, so that this is actually already in production. So if any of you, have access and log in, you'll already see that this document is already available. So everybody can access that obviously, once you log in, you can access that through the portal as well. Navigationally, we feel this site is very simple. It's intended to be, user-friendly and easy to use. You'll notice, that there are tiles at the top, and then there are some panels or additional kind of larger tiles on the main page. You can certainly click on both. A lot of the information that is in one section is in the other. We've just wanted it to be, simpler for everyone so that you're able to navigate either at the top through the bar or on the main page there through the different panels. We will look at each page in a second, but essentially just wanting to kind of show the overview of what that looks like. So for example, I am John, I'm this test member that we have. I log in, I want to see what benefits do I have through Oasis. So either whether I click on the benefits section or the top, I'll be taken to the same page. And here you'll see essentially, the name. Here's the certificate number again. Then you'll see a list of all the benefit names. So for example, of course, everybody on this call, has different, certainly benefits and is able to view their own personal benefits. This is just a sample of what's offered, but just so that you get an idea of what you can see. So you'll see the benefit name, you'll see an effective date of coverage. You'll certainly see, the cost, how much is employer paid, if there are any deductions for you as an employee. And what we like to do here is also, you can toggle between, let's say, weekly, bi-weekly, so that you're able to see the amount, at a frequency that helps and that makes sense for you. So in this case, we have health benefits, dental benefits, of course, that we've been speaking of already, life insurance, AD&D, STD, LTD, MAPL, and EAP. So just for the purposes of today's demo, we're wanting to show kind of an overall coverage description. You'll notice under health and dental, we say refer to the benefit booklet. So those booklets are also available to you, through Oasis and through your organization. They have, certainly way more detail than what you're seeing here. Sorry, if someone could go on mute, I believe there's some, everybody could please go on mute. Thank you so much.
I know she had a bunch of different home visits.
Jackie, I'm so sorry. If you wouldn't mind going on mute. Thank you so much. So please refer to your benefit booklets for any specifics.
The last time she had contact. Is everything okay? Is there something that can help you with?
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So essentially, please refer to your benefit booklets if you would like, additional detail on what coverage you have. But this is a good snapshot to be able to show you what coverages that you have through Oasis. And just a reminder, if there's any time, you'd like to make changes, add a child, modify your coverage, anything that affects your premiums or affects the premiums paid for the benefits, please contact the HR or benefits administrator at your organization because their approval is required prior to making any modifications to coverage. I apologize if everyone can go on mute. I'm hearing some back noise. Thank you. If we go back to our home page, we'll go to the profile section next. So an important, I would say, point to note is, I know someone already mentioned that they wanted to go in and update their address. So absolutely, we definitely promote, the fact that, all employees can log in. Not only are they able to edit their address, but if you'd like to verify, your employment information, it is certainly there as well, so that, everybody has access to their own information. Any address changes that are made through our system, they do get transmitted over to our insurance system. So if let's say for claims information or for receiving a new card, we communicate through our, regularly to our insurance system. So anytime you make a change, this will also modify your address at the GreenShield insurance site as well. So you're able to modify your address on this website. Something else that I know someone mentioned, beneficiaries. We'll take a moment if everybody would like to see this, but essentially, we definitely recommend, now that everyone's going to go in and get access, and be able to log in. If you are eligible for benefits that have beneficiaries, so for example, life insurance, you are able to add beneficiaries and make changes to your beneficiaries through the member portal. There are no paper forms required. You'll see, I'll go through one in just a moment. There is an e-signature process, so meaning it is a binding electronic signature that is essentially provided to you. You'd be able to sign the change, and the document would always remain on your profile under this section here that we'll look at in a second, under documents. So I'm just going to go ahead and show everyone the process. Effective date, I'll use today's date. And at the moment, you notice that, there is Jane Doe. She's the primary beneficiary for both basic and AD&D. So I will go ahead and add another beneficiary. So another person. So I'll just Janet Doe, relationship friend, date of birth. And you'll notice there's a section at the bottom there that says if a beneficiary is under the age of 18, so essentially a minor, that we do require that a trustee be named. In this case, that is not the case, so you can certainly leave this as blank. But let's say this person was, a few years old. The system wouldn't actually allow you to go through to the next section until you appointed someone there as a trustee. So I've gone ahead and added the second beneficiary. What's really important to note here is both amounts. So let's say I wanted to put, 48% and 48%. That's still 96%, and you'll notice it's showing up as red. Both beneficiaries always have to amount to 100%. So in this case, in order for the beneficiary update to go through and to be saved, it's either 50-50, of course, is the most common, but the point is you can go in and allocate whatever percentage you want for your beneficiaries as long as they amount up to 100%. And you'll notice I don't need to basically align or basically I don't need to designate any beneficiaries here for basic AD&D if I don't want to. So Jane remains the sole beneficiary of basic AD&D, and then for basic life, the beneficiaries are essentially divided now between Jane and Janet. Excuse me. Here in the below section, we have contingent beneficiaries. So if any beneficiary, if you would like to add contingents, you're certainly, of course, that is definitely a personal choice. You can go ahead and add or remove contingent beneficiaries, however many times you'd like to do this. And this is another thing. There doesn't have to be a specific scenario for anyone wanting to go and change beneficiaries. So we are able to go in and update beneficiaries, or you are able, rather, I should say, at any point in time. Of course, in order for it to be binding, you have to complete the e-signature process, which I'll show in just a moment. I believe I saw a hand up.
Yes, Bonnie?
Question, when does this come into effect? Is it immediate or is there a
Yes.
time frame?
Great question, Bonnie. Thank you for that. It's as soon as the e-signature is completed, which I'll show in just a moment. So as long as you go in and you follow all the steps, which we're going to go through in just a moment, there is actually a timestamp, and it's very extremely detailed. So it's effective whenever the e-signature becomes effective. Thank you for that question. I'll just go through the process again. It is our test environment, so apologies in advance. It's a little slow. You will not see this pop up when you complete it yourself, again, because it's a mock signature in a test environment. We just want to be very clear that this is not real data. So, oops, I'll just sign. So you sign your signature, basically. You can undo if you feel that, it's not really a good description of what you normally would sign. Feel free to undo and redo it. But essentially, as soon as you've drawn that signature and you hit insert, now you'll notice the signature is there, the date is there, it pre-populates by the system. We'll hit continue. And again, I agree that this document is essentially legally binding. So I'll go ahead with I agree. It says, thank you for submitting the document. So it's processing. In a moment, we're going to go to the document section and I will pull it up and show everyone what that looks like. Bonnie, is there a follow-up question?
I'm so sorry. Yes, I saw
Absolutely.
before you went to the next screen, I saw there was a witness one there. Is that, we just leave that blank?
Yes, absolutely. So there is no, in this situation, of course, if you're not a minor and you're designating your beneficiaries, absolutely no witness required. So if I go, let me go to my documents and see if it's already generated. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. Let me see. It looks to be there. So again, test environment, we had gone in earlier just to make sure all was good before our demo. We're seeing the form here. So I'm just going to open it up. And while I do that, is there a question from, yeah?
Yeah. So I just have a question about the beneficiary. I don't need any kind of permission or not to inform the HR. I can do it just by myself.
Yes. I mean, I will say yes with a caveat that unless you have any, each company is different, of course, with its procedures. So unless you have an internal process where you inform HR, I think it's Bella, right, who's speaking?
Yes.
Unless you have an internal process where, you need to inform your HR team, then by no means, from our perspective, you're updating your own beneficiaries, so you're able to do so. And a great question, though, is that your HR team, basically they administer your benefits as well, right? So they have access to certain information. So they would actually see the same form, but just in another way, in another access that they have. So good question, Bella. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll just kind of scroll through. So you'll notice.
Jennifer?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jennifer. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. I was just wondering about the primary beneficiaries and contingent beneficiaries. For the contingent beneficiaries, it mentions about if the primary beneficiaries is not alive, then it would was the next person. But let's say if there was only like one person that's not alive anymore, would they be just evenly distributed to the other primary beneficiaries?
Yes, normally that is the normal process, Jennifer, for sure. Yes, the contingent beneficiaries really, for lack of a better term, kick in a situation where both primary beneficiaries have deceased.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. So I will just, please, of course, take a look. Whenever you do this, you can certainly read through the fine print. But again, you'll notice that the signature is there. And then if you keep scrolling, and this is actually what it's going to look like for you as well, when you do designate, we do have an audit trail. So I believe Bonnie had asked the question, when is this effective? It really essentially immediately, as long as as soon as the document was signed, and this is effectively in another time zone, but essentially it was effective 3 minutes ago when we signed the document, so that if ever there's any question or anything like that, it's very clear to the insurance carrier or whoever is requiring this information as to when a beneficiary was modified in the system. Yeah, I definitely recommend it's a great practice, in general to have your beneficiaries updated. So I certainly recommend that you know, everyone, you know, go ahead, go in, take a look. Maybe there's some beneficiary information that's outdated, you know, things definitely can change in one's life. So certainly all that information is already there for you. And if you'd like to make changes, you know, no need anymore for a paper form. You can just go ahead and do them like we just did here in the beneficiary section.
Gurpreet has a question.
Sure.
Hi, good afternoon. I just have a question. I don't know it's relevant or no, but it comes to my mind to want to be clarified that from this after login, register this portal. So can we see the dispense fees over on it? Because pharmacist, I noticed that different pharmacists, they charge differently. So we should make sure we're not paying extra money to them, right? So how much we are liable and how much they charging for those things.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's a
concern
great
that.
Yes, absolutely, Gurpreet. Thank you. That's a great question, and I understand that, you know, why you are asking. So this particular member portal that we're looking at is more around beneficiaries, dependents, looking at your overall coverage. It doesn't really get into specifics around claiming and what is eligible per, you know, how much are you eligible for dispensing fees, what's the maximum, any of those details. To look at your claim history, for example, that would be on the GreenShield insurance website. And they would be able to help you. And actually, they, you know, obviously have a call center as well that's more than willing to answer any questions. So if anybody wants to take down the phone number, they are open from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. So I definitely recommend, Gurpreet, if you have that question for them, that you certainly give our insurance call center a call, and they can guide you as to where to see that information on the insurance site, or if you have any questions specifically about your plan and the eligibility of, you know, maybe the reimbursement of your last claim, they can assist you there as well. I'm sorry, they're open from 8:30 to 8:30, not 8 to 8.
Am I allowed in here?
Yeah. Okay. I hope that answers the question. Any other, I can't see anyone else's hand up, so we'll just keep going. Excuse me. Now, just another section, if you'd like to, sorry, independence, if you'd like to look at, you know, again, more so for you to know who you have covered. You know, here in this case, there's a spouse, there's 2 children. So this is great to be able to tell who you have on coverage. Again, if you need to make changes to this, I would definitely recommend speaking to your HR benefits administrator at your company so that they can help you make changes to, let's say you need to add another dependent, you've had another baby, or you need to remove, for example, a child. So please definitely remember that, you know, they're also there to assist and support. As part of our administration, we also administer students. So certainly employees are eligible to keep their dependents on file up until the age of 25, if not in Quebec, as long as they're students of a full-time secondary institution. So we definitely have a process where monthly, our system will generate essentially a document. For example, you'll notice this person is turning 21 on June. So as part of our process in April, we generate a letter for all employees to say, you know, if you are in this position and you have a dependent that's coming of age, that you need to what we call certify, the system will generate a document for you. So again, I really recommend everybody on this call, you know, there's a lot of valuable information in here. Please log in, click on documents, and you'll see here, for example, that there is a letter that has been populated by our system where you are being asked, or in this case, John is being asked to certify their dependent that is becoming over age if they are in fact a student. So I believe I had opened up the document here. Again, it gives the name of the daughter, you know, when is she turning 21. So our system does this, it does a 2-month lookout. So essentially we're looking at anyone that is turning 21 within that 2 months period. So you might think, oh, well, we're only in April. How come we're doing this? This is in June. We like to allow as much time as possible for employees to go in and make sure that they are, have time to review the documentation and certify their students. So definitely, I think this is a very important piece. You feel free to read this letter if you receive it. So employees have 31 days from the time they receive the letter to certify their dependents. It does say that if you fail to certify, that medical underwriting will apply. And as far as a process, OASIS has provided a form for you that you can complete and send to OASIS, basically outlining the name of the student, their date of birth, the gender, where are they attending school, what is their ID, the begin and end date of the school year, and then a signature and a date.
Yeah, Aaron has a question too.
Yeah, please.
When we get a letter or any type of document sent to us through the portal, do we get an email notification that it's there? Because I can't see all of us remembering to check the portal.
Yeah, no, great question, Aaron. At this point in time, with how the process is functioning today in our but we are always looking at changes and making modifications potentially to communication. So if there's ever, if that changes in the future, rather, I should say, OASIS will communicate that to all members and let them know. But at the moment, no. So we recommend that, a good practice is to log into the portal at least once a month. To view things like your benefits, your beneficiaries, your dependents, and also to go into that letters or forms section of the portal so that you are essentially, you are able to go in and take action if anything needs to take action. If anything changes around that, certainly OASIS will communicate that to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I will just go back if everyone to give everybody another glance at this My Documents section. So you'll notice, there's a couple here. So let's say I signed my form this morning. I signed a beneficiary form and I realized I either made a mistake or I wanted to modify it, or even if it's 6 months down the road and I want to change my beneficiary. The good thing about this portal as well is that you will always see a historical record of who your beneficiaries were prior to you making a change. Similarly to your confirmation statements. Let's say you had family coverage and you're changing your family to single, your coverage rather to single, that confirmation statement will always be there for you. I know we get questions around, do I have to print things? Am I able to, do I need to keep track? There's so many documents, I don't want to do that. So the answer is no, you absolutely don't have to print anything. The system will always essentially create and populate a letter or a document rather, and it will stay on record for you to be able to access at any given point in time. Does anyone, oh, sorry, one last thing. You'll notice the important documents member portal guide is here, and I'll open it up as well. Just for measure, we do post it in 2 different places on the portal. It's under forms, but it's also on the homepage. So you may notice in the future some additional documentation there. It's always, I know OASIS is always looking for ways to make things more user-friendly and make things kind of simpler for everybody. So we have put together a guide, just allowing, essentially similar to what we're going through today. You'll be able to just see what the portal is about. So registering for the portal, just a couple of screenshots here. There's the link for registration. It kind of will give you an overview and a bit of a brief reminder of what we have discussed today. It really shows you about navigation and the different, essentially the different tabs that we walk through. So certainly once everybody has had the opportunity to register and log in. Please feel free. I recommend always going to important documents first, certainly downloading it. However, I always recommend, when you log in to take a look there, there might be new information that we are wanting to share with everyone. So always a good practice to keep track of what documents are also there. I know I kind of talked quite a bit there. I just want to step back and allow for any more questions. I know there have been some really, really good questions thus far. Mustafa?
Hi there.
Hello.
So I have one question. So my question is regarding like sometimes when we are going to some of the clinics and sometimes we are experiencing some wrongdoing or some extra charges by the clinics, which we mostly like experience that or observe that one. And I personally encountered such things with while I like recently went and visit a dental clinic. And when I went there, so many things happened and they took extra things. So what are the measures that we prevent such kind of things like while we are going to those clinics? And they should not charge us for like they also charge me for most of my dental benefits with the GreenShield, and also I paid some amount of money for them. And what are the measures that we can take against them, I would say?
Okay, thank you, Mustafa, for your question. So if I'm understanding, you want some additional information potentially around how some of the claims were handled in the past, it sounds like. And maybe that's related to dentists, the dental office that you were at. Again, without knowing, of course, specifics, it's very hard to respond. But what I would suggest is anytime you have a question about any of your claims, our customer service center for insurance is available to help you. So when you call, they will ask you some questions like your name, your company, your date of birth, etc. Of course, just to make sure they're speaking to the right person. And then they may ask you some questions about any historical claims, and then they'll be able to answer. For example, if you submitted $50, they'll be able to tell you exactly based on your plan what you should have received and what you received. So I would say, as much as we'd love to address it here, I think the best team that has all of the claims information is our customer service center, our insurance customer service center. So if you wouldn't mind, you can note down this phone number. And as I say, they are also open till 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So not sure if you have time today, but feel free to give them a call when you have a moment.
Okay, thank you for that. So my question is not only for the previous claims, but for my future claims. What does I mean with that is that, so sometimes the clinics and doctors and other like medical relevant person can see how much money or how much we have in our claims for that particular things, right?
Correct.
So when they see that we have some money in this section, for example, let's say about dental. If we go to a dentist in a clinic, if they see that we have this amount of money available for our like dental problem or issues, so they will say something like that they should charge you for that. So is there any possibility that, I mean, you protect the amount of money that we have, so they could not see how much money we have, but instead they could get assured that we will be covered by the amount that we are charged with that one?
Yes, I think I understand. So you're saying they're able to view your overall coverage, and maybe because of that, they are recommending that you do certain procedures.
Exactly.
Right. So I think the ability to view what you're covered for, I think that's kind of across the board standard. But again, I would recommend that you speak with insurance. Maybe if you give them a specific example, Mustafa, they can help. But again, I would say the decision always come back to yourself when you're making that claim with the dental office. So definitely, if you feel that a procedure is not required, you absolutely are able to communicate that to your dentist, but I would definitely speak to our insurance colleagues. They may have more information about how to handle that situation.
Thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely.
You so
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And I believe we have a couple more questions. I see a hand up, but I apologize. Sorry, Kevin, I can't hear you very well.
Oh, Lisa's next.
Okay. Hi, Lisa.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Good. Okay, just a question. I understand that we were told that we now, in terms of massages, we don't have to, we won't require a doctor's note. But I'm on my app, the GSC app, and it says my plan details, not a benefit unless prescribed by a physician or a specialist or nurse practitioner.
Mm-hmm. So, so you received confirmation from GreenShield Insurance that a note is no longer required. So I would definitely confirm. Again, I apologize if the responses are repetitive. I just want to make sure that we are directing you to those who have kind of the most complete information that can help you with this type of question, Lisa. So I would, similar to my recommendation earlier, I would recommend giving GreenShield Insurance a call for that and just double checking and ensuring that a doctor's note is not required, and then you can provide that feedback around where it's written. If you don't mind, I would suggest that course of action for that question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Sorry for the interruption. Lisa, we made the enhancement, but officially it is not implemented due to the strike process with GreenShield. So any enhancement that what you guys are going through, no prescription required, dental enhancement is more dollars, will be impacted when they will officially declare the transition was happened. We made the transition from 1st of April, but it's not effective yet.
Oh, thank you. But I thought, is the strike not over?
The strike is over, but our enhancement implementation hasn't been implemented yet. So we are waiting for our OASIS to confirm which date the rollover has been done. That's why you guys are all stuck right now with your new prescribe claim and everything. So just hold up with a little bit of patience.
I understand. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjay, for that clarification. Much appreciated.
And Mustafa, what's your concern? I am part of your team. Whenever you go through this kind of process, yes, it's a standard practice. Every dentist, they have the different protocols. They will try to make the best money. So you have to come up with a plan, which dentist you will go through and whom you can be your trust. If you frequently change your dentist, it will happen, which all you know. But if you trust with somebody and you know whatever the recommendation, they will not do anything until they recommend and you verbally or given them the consent. They will tell you this is the process and you have to go through that part. So just adding you whatever you asked to on your questions, how you can measure those metrics. Yes, there is a certain way to do it. And I think we can talk about more next time when you come and see me. So if I am, I sorry I jumped in. I think if I am on the queue, can I ask you a couple more questions, which is very important at this stage for me.
Yes, of
and
course.
I know we have a very limited time. Would you please give us more detail about the Mappily benefit and the virtual clinic and the in-bolt system? Previously, we have a different EAP platform. Now it is taken by the in-bolt. I think none of us raised the question because we are having some of the issues with mental health and other things. I would prefer if you spend some time and give us a guidance to that, how we can get in touch and how we can.
So for those that have Maple, Sanjay, I don't believe it's, we don't have the contact information here, but when we do send out the recording and just some of these documents and the guide, there is basically a document that Inkblot has put together, a very detailed document that'll show you, where you can call, where you can log in, what the website is, how to do it. So I'll connect with Oasis and make sure that your team has what they need, because there's been a lot of communication done by Inkblot, and I'm sure maybe you would have received something in the past, but happy to direct you as far as where you can get that in the future.
Okay, so this is basically about the portal introductions, not about the service resources that how people can reach out to the.
Not about Inkblot specifically, no.
Okay, all right, okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay, I will keep that in a note. I will reach out to our administrator in Oasis, and meanwhile, if you guys put some info, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100% we can.
Yeah, we have Lisa. Lisa, you're on mute.
Or maybe Lisa had her question answered before.
Okay, Deborah then.
I'm a relatively new employee, so I haven't received any of these emails yet. I have to wait X amount of time for my coverage. So would they just be sending an email out to me when my coverage is coming up or when it's actually up?
Yes, so great question, Deborah. You would be receiving information closer to when your coverage is going to be effective. So as soon as your information is entered in our system, let's say that's done a month before your eligibility date, you will then receive the emails that I mentioned to you where it'll say, welcome, to your member portal. Here's your certificate number, and it'll give you a link and allow you to register. So great point. If you don't have currently active benefits, because of course you're new, this would all apply to you, of course, but not until your benefits become effective. Yes.
Great. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Here we have Elizabeth.
Sure.
Hi, my question may be repetitive, but I just wanted to get clarification. So if I understand clearly, let's say for instance, January you met with a dentist and you started some work, but for whatever reason you find that's not a good fit for you in terms of various things. And so every time you need to go to a dentist, they need to do a full examination regardless of what you tell them. And so how many examinations can you have per year?
Great question. So I would definitely check in on either on your GreenShield app, insurance app, or give them a call because you're right. There is a specific amount that's allotted for that annually. And if you've already done that, let's say a dentist number one, you're switching dentist mid-year, there may be an amount for you to pay then out of pocket for that. So I always recommend anytime there's dentist work, they can also do like pre-approval to double check and see whether or not an expense will be approved. So that's something that the customer service team at GreenShield can also help with. They'd be able to see if you submit this exact expense, how much would get reimbursed. So I would recommend giving them a call prior to either switching dentists or prior to essentially that change or that claim that you're looking to make.
And with those two exams, essentially there is only you're only allowed to have one set of exams per calendar year, correct?
Yes, if it's speaking about what I think you're speaking of without seeing the specifics, yes, that is something that is annual. It's an annual, essentially approved expense. But again, I would certainly confirm with your benefits booklet, and then if additional support is needed, our colleagues at the call center are the best people to answer that.
Yeah, and so I have one more question for clarification as well. So I haven't tried yet, but I've been getting some mixed stories whereby you need a prescription for massage and you don't need a prescription. So I think the gentleman was saying there was talk of it, but there was no clarification. But I did try to call GreenShield, but they were on strike. So again, am I understanding that clearly?
Yes, I would also, so depending on the situation, I would definitely though call them. You are right, there was a work stoppage for a few weeks. As of last week, that has been resolved. So if you were to give them a call, today or whenever you have a moment, there are agents there able to assist you and answer your question.
Okay, sorry, my last question.
Oh, please.
So for various reasons, you may do a general dental exam. And of course, how do I put this mildly? Yeah, I won't. So if you were to see a specialist, then if you see, for instance, a endodontist and a general dentist, then you'll have to pay that additional cost on your own because they don't cover specialists. Is that correct?
Again, without knowing the, I'd love to be able to give you a yes or no answer, Elizabeth, unfortunately, but without looking at your plan, I don't know specifically. So if it is kind of an over above, not a customary kind of expense, then there may be an out-of-pocket amount, and I would definitely check your booklet or either speak to someone at GreenShield, just so that I don't want to give you general information. I'd rather you get the specifics so that they can answer your questions specifically to your plan.
Very well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I know there's a couple more questions. I'm happy to answer them. I know we're a little bit over time, so we can certainly spend an additional 5 minutes. My pleasure to do that. The only thing I wanted to touch on that I realized just in speaking to everyone, we got carried away here with the questions, is I didn't show everyone an example of their confirmation statement. So another document that's available to you is your confirmation statement. So it again doesn't have the specifics of what's covered, but it does give you, you know, is there a monthly cost? You know, do you have EAP? Do you have Maple? What are, you know, what are the specifics when it comes to basic life and AD&D? So anytime there's a change in your file for whatever reason, if you go to single coverage or you change positions with your company, you're always going to get a new confirmation statement. So it's always good to have a copy of this. It gives who your dependents are. It even breaks down your beneficiaries. And then in order for you to be able to tell, it always gives the date of when this document was printed, so that you're always, if you have a couple of these, you always know which one is the most recent and which one is the most relevant. So my apologies, I didn't want to miss sharing that with everybody, and that is under the documents section. And again, just looking at the interest of time, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not taking up too much of anyone's time. We will certainly go on for a couple of more minutes if it's helpful. I think there's a question from John.
Luke. Luke is next.
Thank you. Hi. Really, I jumped on late to the call, and it's just
no worries.
I had an easy go with the GSC everywhere. I'm all set up there. It's the one that you're on, the current page, the admin benefactor admin. The PIN. Where would I find the PIN?
A very good question. The PIN is Oasis.
Oh wow.
The PIN or the client name. So is it the PIN that you're looking at? So that I can take every.
It says your PIN should be provided by your administrator and will be used to validate your identity. That's the kind of.
Are you on the employer portal, Luke?
Welcome to your employer. Yes.
That might be why. So yeah, okay. So the PIN you would have received when we set you up. You would have. This is for everyone. This is for the employer portal. So not the portal we're on today. You would have received an email from us, and it would have given you the PIN in the email.
Okay.
We have your name, so Kevin can look up your access after this, and we can resend you that email.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I made a note of your name here, so we'll take care of that for you. Sure. Who else do we have? Is it Sega?
Sega? Yep.
Yes. I think my question was kind of asked, but I didn't really get the response. Sure. In terms of if you have a counseling sessions or therapy, what's the coverage? How do we go about that? Do I have to call and see if I'm covered or not?
Yes. So I would first, so great question. I know when you call this number, it's mainly for claims information, but they are also able to route you, or they will be able to transfer you rather, connect you with the right team who handles EAP, which is the Inkblot team. So you may have gotten an email in the past, or you may have seen some information about the services. I know certain pamphlets were provided. So Tsega, my recommendation would be to give this phone number a call and ask the call center to put you in touch with Inkblot. and then they'll be able to give you that number as well directly. They have agents there that can help you and tell you exactly what you're eligible for, and they can even help you set up an appointment or go through the different services that are offered by Inkblot.
Okay, thank you.
You're
And I
more
think
than
I
welcome.
also have the same issue as Kevin, the previous caller.
Oh, okay. So are you you're an employer as well? Like an
Yeah.
administrator?
I mean, the manager.
Okay, great. And it's Sika speaking, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Sika, we will reach out to you with an updated email to give you the PIN again.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Any other questions?
Dima,
Yes.
yeah, I just looked up Sika and Luke for the employee portal, and I don't see it was ever set up for them, so they may need to go to Oasis to send us an email for that one.
Okay, we can also connect with the Oasis team on that. So we can manage that, and we'll let you know. It might be an access, basically an access setup that's required.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, our pleasure.
And thank you guys. That was
Yes.
so informative.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. I don't want to leave anybody with unanswered questions. So Kevin, is there anyone left with a question?
Yes. We have John.
Okay, and I think after that, I'll just make sure that there's nothing else, and then we can
After that, we have
close our
Susan.
meeting. Okay, so John and our Susan, our last two. Go ahead, John, if you don't mind.
Yes, hi there. Just a quick question. Under the personal information, the actual earnings, there was a change in my employment recently. So that hasn't reflected in the Oasis personal information. Do we contact our HR or
Yes.
whoever to update through Oasis or through GreenShield?
No, you would contact your HR within your organization first, and then we would be receiving that information from the Oasis team and then updating it on your behalf. It just may that it hadn't gotten to us yet. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And then Susan, I believe.
Hi. I think by mistake, just now, because when I review, you send the link, I'm using the link and there's somebody providing the website. I created an account already. I'm using, but the name, the client name using is the OASSIS.
That's
but
correct.
It looks like I received the information is successfully registered, but it looks like you mentioned that we're going to receive a unique, but that's for your employer, right? It's not for us.
Correct.
So
You're fine.
then,
yeah.
I'm fine. So what steps I need to follow to solve the problem? Looks like when you guys have a new one, I can, what to do? I mean, because it looks like I sign in for employers account, created account. I'm using the OASSIS, and the rest information I get it my personal email password, right? I created it, and then certificate number I get it from the GreenShield website. So in this case, it looks like just now you mentioned we're going to send an email to us for your client ID number. In this case, the account already registered. When I re-register, it looks like I'm going to be denied because of the, duplicating information. I hope somebody can help me to solve it, the problem.
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting. It shouldn't have let you register with the
let me
Oasis as the
register.
PIN. I mean, for the employer portal, that's definitely different. So
yeah, I think so, because after I register, I couldn't view it. I said, where is it? And you mentioned, I noticed, oh yeah, it's different website.
Right.
So
so if this is for the broader group, if you've been set up with access by your company to have access to the employer portal, you would be getting an email with the PIN. So Susan, we'll check your account after this, and if there is access, we will resend you that information so that you can take a look at it. For sure.
Thank you so much.
So for everybody that's on the call today, and we have not many follow-ups, but a couple of people have raised a few things. If you would allow us until end of day tomorrow to get to you, that would be helpful, just so that, I'm sure we'll get to it today, but just in case, if there's ever anything, allow us end of day tomorrow. We may have to coordinate with Oasis as well. So if you don't mind, that would be great. But yes, we'll check your account, Susan, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. So I just wanted to thank everybody for their time. I know everyone is extremely busy. There's a lot of different competing things on the go. So much appreciated to all of you who registered and attended the session. We hope that this was beneficial, and that you're able to gain some knowledge and information about the member portal. We will be sharing as well. This recording in some fashion will be made available to you in the coming days, so that if you need anything, you can certainly refer back to it. And for anyone that we mentioned that we would get back to them, there's a handful. We will certainly do that. But otherwise, I hope everyone is able to log into the portal and take advantage of the information and the knowledge that's on the website. So thank you again, everybody, for attending today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.